الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد النبي الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه الطيبين الطاهرين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما وتفرقنا من بعده تفرقا ساميا معصوما. اللهم لا تجعل فينا شقيا ولا محروما ولا مطرودا ولا معذبا بنار برحمتك يا عزيز يا غفار. ثم أما بعد. Islam gives priority for seeking knowledge. And as mentioned in the hadith of Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he said, "Man salaka tariqan yaltamisu bihi ilman sahhala Allahu lahu bihi tariqan ila al-jannah." Whomever talk about to seek knowledge, Allah will make for him the path of Jannah easy. And if the path of Jannah, Allah will make it easy, there's no doubt the path of dunya will be easy. And in Islam, knowledge considered as an act of worship, as a ibadah. And actually, it's an important act of worship and has a great significance. That just, you worship without knowledge is not the same. I'm sure you heard about the story of that monk, Buhaira, the one he was worshipping Allah over 60 years in his sawma'ah, in his place of worship. And he was isolating himself from others and devoting himself just for ibadah. And one time a family, brothers, they want to travel and they came to him and they said, "How about that you leave and you take care of, we leave our sister with you to take care of her?" At the first time, he said, No, I'm busy. I don't want to look after anybody. But then after they insisted, he said, "Okay." And they asked him just to take care of her, ask about her, give her food from time to time. So at the beginning, he used to place the food at the door and just say "Assalamu alaikum" and greeting her from a distance, and she will take the food and she will take care of herself. But then he said, "How about I will chat with her like a little," and start chatting with her. And like one step, one after the other, until he slept with her and she became pregnant. And now Shaitan came to him and he said, "Oh, what's a major mistake that you have done? You have to correct your mistake." And he said, "You have to kill her." So he killed her and the baby. And he buried them somewhere. After a long time, the brothers came and asked about their sister. And he said she disappeared. But then Shaitan came to them and told them, "No, she never disappeared. He's the one killed her." And he pointed to them to her grave. And when they dig, they found their sister. And now they want to crucify him. They want to kill him. And he was on the cross. Shaitan came to him again. And he said, "Look at that poor man. I will help you. I have only one condition. You bow down for me, you make sujood for me, I will help you in that." At the moment that he's making sujood to Shaitan, at the moment they killed him. And he died making sujood for Shaitan. After long period of time of worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he was abid but not alim. And that's why we have to differentiate between ibadah and ilm. If I have more time to spend, I should spend more time for ilm, for knowledge, than even other ibadah. Because knowledge by itself is a ibadah, an important part of ibadah. So do not belittle any effort that you are making to learn about your deen, because it's important for you, because it might fall in trap or mistakes just because of the ignorance. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us all, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teach us the best of knowledge. Ameen. اللهم علمنا ما جهلنا وذكرنا ما نسينا. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه مولانا رب العالمين. This is your time for your questions. Please, go ahead. Okay, after him.
Assalamu alaikum. I have a question. How important is it to immediately have a dua after the fard prayers, or is it after the completion of all the
Can you
sunnah?
make it clear because of the noise in there?
Okay. So how important is it to complete the dua after the fard prayers, or is it after the completion of the sunnah as well as the nafil prayers?
When the place of mu'aqibat or adhkar after salah, it should be immediately after salah. In fact, it's makruh that to start the sunnah before doing the adhkar. It's makruh. I will say it again. There are many hadith about that. So if you want to establish sunnah after the fard prayer, move from your spot. Praying in the same spot, it's makruh. Unless you make mu'aqibat, you make some adhkar. And one time, Sayyidina Umar, jadaba wa jabada, he pulled down somebody, stand up before doing adhkar, and he pulled him down to do adhkar first, and then, your nafilah. So the time for the adhkar, for dua and dhikr, that should be immediately after salah, before praying your sunnah. And if somehow you don't have time to wait, then change your spot. Do not pray in the same spot because that's makruh.
Another follow-up question with respect to that is, like, if the imam starts praying after the fourth prayer, should we make a dua of our own, or should we join in responses to the dua done by the...
I didn't get to your question. How the imam will start praying? Start praying what?
So in certain parts of the world, what happens after the fourth prayer, the imam recites the verses of Quran, and then the followers respond by saying Ameen. So he says short versions of dua immediately after the fourth prayer, and then everyone responds by saying Ameen. So should one make their own dua, or should one continue with those responses?
الدعاء الجماعي المرتبط بالصلاة لأجل ختم الصلاة أيضا مكروه وهو يعد من البدع. الدعاء الجماعي بعد كل صلاة إذا كان ملازما للصلاة لأجل ختم الصلاة هذا من البدع. وإذا اعتقد الإنسان سنيته كان هذا أشد. So making dua in a gathering where like imam or somebody assigned by the imam immediately after salah, or they making dua, especially if that their habit, it's not from time to time or for other reasons or occasionally. If they are used to do dua after salah, that is bid'ah. That's bid'ah, and that's something that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked the Sahaba to stay away from it. And then there's a hadith that مَخَافَةَ أَن تَنْتَفِخَ أَوْدَاجُهُ. That's part of it, that if the person that he will feel kind of a bride, where he is important that establishing the dua with others, then that's a wrong sign of him. So there are many reasons why that imam should not establish regularly that the dua after salah. If it's happened for different occasion and not because of the ending of salah, that's a different story. Let's say difference like in dua, and it's not a constant, and it's not like a part of the prayer, it's not insisting on that, different occasion, different reason, that's a different story. However, if you connect it with the salah as a habit, then that's a bid'ah. So each individual should make dua by himself after salah. You should not make it in a gathering. However, at the beginning of the da'wah, when the Prophet teaching his companion, they used to say the adhkar out loud. At the beginning, as mentioned in Bukhari, that Ibn Abbas said, كنا لا نعرف انفضاض الناس من الصلاة إلا بالذكر بعد الصلاة. We didn't know that people that ended their salah except when we are coming to the mosque and we heard their dhikr after salah. So why is that? That at the beginning the Prophet ﷺ used to teach them that dhikr. Once they learned, he stopped that. So at the beginning, there's a matter of teaching that to be out loud. So now let's say there are beginners or students, and the young kids, they want to learn. So the Imam, like he did it a couple times for them to learn, and then once they get it, then it is fine. So that's different reason because of teaching. So it's not the norm. The norm should not be that loud. It should be silent and each one doing it by himself. So again, at the beginning was, saying it out loud. And as the Prophet ﷺ used even to recite the surah after Fatiha in Dhuhr out loud. Do you know that? Yes? At the beginning, because he wanted to use the chance for them to listen to more Quran and to learn from his recitation, he used to recite the surah after Fatiha out loud, just for teaching. But then, that was the last practice of Rasulullah. After they learned, then he never recited out loud in Dhuhr prayer. Is that answer your question, brother? Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. Sorry? Oh, my name is Jamal. Yeah. I just wanted to ask, like, when praying in a family gathering, like when kids are praying with their mom, for instance, sometimes, especially the toddlers, they play a lot and they can jump on the mom's back and pull her hijab off while she's praying. Does she have to repeat the whole prayer again when that happens?
Okay. First of all, the kids will be around, they'll bring around. Sometimes we get frustrated, but that's the masjid, they see it as their playground. And that's a good sign that you connect with, with the masjid. We as a human, yes, sometimes we feel bad and we feel angry. But if we didn't let them come, then they're not feeling comfortable when they get older to come. So we should be a little bit flexible with the teaching. Not like too much when you really major disturbing, that will be a different story. And the kids, they used to be in the mosque with the Prophet ﷺ. One time the Prophet, he discontinued his khutbah because he saw Hassan tripping in his cloth, and he went down and he grabbed him. One time, the Prophet, he was praying, leading salah, holding Umamah, his granddaughter. And nowadays, if like somebody will do it, I will do it. People, they really complain and say, "What's Imam doing?" One time, the Prophet ﷺ speed up in his prayer. And the Sahaba wonder, what's wrong? The Prophet ﷺ told them, I heard that baby crying in the back. فَأَشْفَقْتُ عَلَى أُمِّهِ. I felt bad for his mother. And it happened the opposite at the time where he spent long time for sujood. And the Sahaba wonder what happened. He said, one of my sons, took my back as a ride. Like he ride my back. And I was afraid to push him off. So he waited until he removed by himself. See the Prophet. Even at the time of the important action, an important ibadah like salah, once he speed up, once he slow down, why is that? Because of a child. So we have to be kind, we have to be nice. And it's mentioned, as Sayyidah Aisha said, the kids are used to, go and even between the lines, in salah. So we should not worry about that. And as long as we maintain the sutra of Imam, other people praying behind Imam, there's no sutra for them. The sutra, that's where the Imam having an object like, like a wall or something like in front of him, that's being maintained, and nobody will cross front of his place of sujood. That's the most important things. The others, that's fine if somebody, kids or others, they go in between lines. And by the way, when you praying towards sutra, do not just pray right on the sutra. Leave like a distance, or like a foot between your head and the sutra. They said mamarru shatin, where the area or a path or distance that allow the sheep to cross. So do not really be close to your sutra, make a distance. So the Prophet when he prayed inside the Kaaba as described by Bilal, he said he left 3 foot. So 2 foot for his sujood and another one between him and the wall. Anyway, that's something aside. Now for your question, brother, like, kids are playing around, do not be frustrated, do not be strict with them. Do not expect from them they will stand up like without movement. So that will be fine. Now, regardless the reason, the hijab and the cover has to be maintained in salah. We have a term called satrul awra. Satrul awra, it's must with the 2 conditions. Satrul awra, it's must with the 2 conditions. Al-ilmu wal-qudratu. So if you are able and if you know. So it's must that to cover your awra, which the man, the minimum part of awra above the birbar and below the knees, that's the minimum. Which in salah should be even more. Because in salah, it's makruh to expose your shoulders in salah. So that's, extra things. Even if you are doing ihram in umrah, and sometimes you, for some reasons, you expose your shoulder, when the salah comes, you should cover your shoulder. You should wear it and take it off, and wear it again where you cover your shoulder. So now, it's must for a man and woman to maintain covering the awrah during the entire salah, but if they are able, and if they know. When I say they know, sometimes you don't know that there is a exposure for the awrah. But if you know and you're able, that's what should be. So, in this case, I will advise to be precautious before prayer, that somehow she will tie the hijab as much as she can. If it was a little exposure, like, for unintentionally, or something out of her control for a short period of time, that will be fine, no issue with this. Because it comes like as if she's not able to do so. If she are taking all precautions. Yes. She doesn't have to repeat the salah if she has at the beginning that she's taking all her precautions. And I will say, I'm guessing she's not, the hijab will be completely off. It's not completely off, yes? If it's completely off, then she has to repeat it. But if just, a little exposure, like, some of her hair or something like that, she doesn't have to redo the salah. Allah.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. My question is, can I fast the last 15 days of Sha'ban if I have qada, som qada?
Qada, you can do anything, there's no issue. Even the last day of Sha'ban, that's we're connected with the Ramadan. There's no issue with that. So you can. For qada, yes, you can, even the 30th of Sha'ban, you can, fast that one because of that qada. Now, if we're talking not about qada, about, fasting for sunnah. Fasting for sunnah, it's better to not fast and connecting fasting with Ramadan. Especially Yawm al-Shak, the day that's where there's a doubt that might be Ramadan. So it's better to not to fast. Unless somebody has the habit to fast like certain days like Mondays and Thursdays and happen for that reason, that's no karaha. Otherwise, it's makruh. It's not haram. It's makruh to fast until the last day of Sha'ban. If you are not fasting to make up some of the days of Ramadan or any fard siyam, or if not having a habit, and that's why you are fasting. So again, in simple word, for you, just to answer the question, because is that fard, qada is fard, so there's no restriction. You still can fast even the last day of Sha'ban. Yes.
بس أحب أربط بالنسبة لسؤال الأخ، هذا كان سؤاله بالنسبة للنساء، نحب نذكر الشباب لما يكون في حاله سجود أو شيء يظهر بعض الأحيان خلف أسفل الظهر بعض من العورة.
Yes.
وسؤال ثاني بالنسبة لأحكام الإنصاف.
So the brother, he's just giving advice with some of the brothers when they pray. Sometimes they didn't know that, but the one behind, they get disturbed when they see their aura. So, sometimes when you wear like a tight cloth, it might expose part of your aura. So be careful with this. I know, sometimes they can, even it's hard now to go and buy that's suitable cloth nowadays. It's not even up to you. Sometimes, even the waist of the pants, it's nowadays, they do it like a shortcut, they're not even doing it the one that used to be, in the past. So I understand this, but at least maybe you wear something in the top that's a little bit longer, or you keep in your car, aba'ah, something easy to wear in the top of your cloth when you come to the masjid. I think that's a good idea. I've seen people, they are doing that, and even some people, they leave like, piece of a cloth nice in the masjid somewhere or in their cars or wherever. Most of us, they come with our cars. So just leave it in the back seat, and when you come, you wear it. That would be better for you, inshallah. So that's a good point, Jazakallah khairan, brother.
بالنسبة للسؤال يا شيخ، حكم الانصراف بعد الصلاة بالنسبة للمأموم. أحكام الانصراف بعد الصلاة بالنسبة للمأموم.
I didn't get exactly what you mean. That's of the person will leave after salah. Yes, that's totally fine. You leaving, without like rushing after salah, without doing the adhkar and doing other mu'aqibat or praying the sunnah. That's an option. Just do not disturb others, whatever, all the time. But that's an option. There is no karaha or anything for that. However, longer time that you sit, that's a more reward than and one of the important times where you inquire the dua of malaika, if you sit after your salam. When you are sitting in your spot after your salam, at the time the malaika will make dua for you. And when the malaika angels will make dua for you, that's a more chance for that dua will be accepted. So more time that you're spending in the masjid and staying in your spot, that's more where the malaika praying for you. But if somebody want to leave and rush, that's fine. Many of the Sahaba, they used to do that and with no harm. Is that answer your question? Inshallah. You have some related question to this? So what's your thought about it? You can give him that one. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yes. Yes.
أو بالقيام.
Okay.
يعني نهي النبي عن الانصراف قبل انصراف الإمام. هل يحمل انصراف الإمام على القيام من مجلسه أو يحمل على تسليمه أو على التفافه جهة المصلين؟
Yep, Jazakallah khairan. So the Sahaba, as their action explaining the word of the Rasulullah, because they do that in the presence of the Prophet and he never command them to do the opposite. So they used to, after the Prophet will make salam, they used to leave, you know, some of them. And actually at the beginning, he will advise men not to leave until women will leave. And you know that why? Because at that time they used to have only one entrance in the masjid. And he will ask them just to wait until they give time and a chance for sisters to leave first. And then the Sahaba will do. However, when they had like two entrances and Sahaba they leave, that was okay with no harm and no restriction. And now the hadith of the Prophet will insiraf al-imam min as-salah, it's a salam that, you know, it's count as an insiraf. Now in the imam that turning his face to see others, that's after short dua. Allahumma anta salam. He will say istighfar 3 times. Allahumma anta salam wa minka salam tabarakta ya dhal jalali wal ikram. And then he will turn, you know, his face toward, you know, the ma'mumin. And that doesn't take time, you know. It's not like, you know, it's a long time. If you consider not to turn and not to leave until the imam will turn his face, that might be better. And if you're able to stay until imam leave his spot, that's even be better. Yeah. So salam, it counts as an insiraf min as-salah, because insiraf min as-salah. So the hadith, he didn't say insiraf min al-masjid. The hadith, he ended his salah. So when he leaves or he ended his salah, that's count as an insiraf. Wallahu a'lam. Yes.
السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
السؤال برضو متعلق بالصلاة. الوقفة للصلاة في الصف، يعني بعض الناس يعني ياخذ مسافة في أرجله، يكون الكتف بعيد من الكتف
نعم.
وما يجي هنا، فما هي
Yes, جزاك الله خيرا. هذه من أخطاء في تطبيق السنن. نعم، النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال سد الخلل. The question of the brother asking, is it okay to answer in English? Yes? Yes. He's asking that some people, when they are standing for the prayer, they are standing in a way that their shoulders away from others. So the distance between their legs, it's wide more than what's supposed to be. And I understand their point why they are doing this, because they want to apply one of the command of the Prophet by filling the gap and praying foot by foot. However, that's a mistake of practicing the sunnah, because there are priorities, and more important than filling the gap between the foot, that to pray shoulder by shoulder. So what comes first? Shoulder by shoulder before like foot by foot. And there's no dispute between scholars about this. That's one thing. And second, you cannot fix a mistake by another mistake. People, when they leave in gap, that's a mistake. It's a minor mistake. But making in salah عدم اعتدال, being not in the right position, that's another mistake. So you cannot fix a mistake, so that I'm going to close the gap, but at the same time you make عدم اعتدال, لأن الاعتدال من شروط الصلاة. So it should be your legs not being that wider and be off of your shoulders. So in other way, you should not really close your legs. That's for ladies. That should not distance much between their legs. And you should not really widen your legs. And how you do it, let's say this is the foot, should be only a foot distance between your legs. This is the way. So you turn your foot this way, this the way. Or your measurement, your shoulders. Just not be away from your shoulder in order to allow the others to be close, by to your shoulder. So this is, how it should be. Yes. فهذه من الأخطاء في تطبيق بعض السنن والإنسان أن يحذر من ذلك. فيكون هناك اعتدال واتساع القدمين أحيانا يخرجه عن الاعتدال. جزاك الله خيرا. Sisters, yes, please. Any questions, sisters? Do they have a mic there? Okay. Bismillah, if you have any question, you can use the mic. Yes. Yes, brother. Okay.
I have a question about...
That will be last question, or will you have other ones? Yes, you? Okay. You go ahead.
About علم الدنيا and علم الآخرة. علم الدنيا is like a university, as a university student.
Okay.
How to manage my time and if I want to do Sharia and Aqidah and memorizing Quran, at the same time I'm doing my university. So how to manage my time?
Yes. First of all, any knowledge that pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even studying chemistry or physics or whatever, as long as you have a pure intention, you're doing that to support yourself, to support your family, to have a decent job, and you have the intention that you learn something that make you close to Allah, because always you can connect any knowledge with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You could connect math with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You could connect chemistry and physics, with that. So as long as you have that pure intention, that will be ibadah, act of worship. So it's not only ibadah and that, the seeking the knowledge of deen. Any knowledge that's bring you close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Any knowledge that's important for you, that it might be ibadah, as long as you have the pure intention. That's why you have to work on your heart. Ask yourself why I'm doing this. So always, you ask yourself, why I'm studying that, why I'm doing this. And I'm sure you will find a way to utilize that knowledge even to guide people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, any knowledge that's beneficial, but not only this, but what's matter, not the knowledge itself, but even your intention. Why you are seeking that. Okay? Why you are seeking that knowledge. You're seeking that to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for a good intention, then that will count in the circle of Allah. There is one Sahabi with muscles. The Sahaba, they said, we wish of those muscles in the circle of Allah. So the Prophet told him, if he went out to earn for his family, then he's in the circle of Allah. If he went out to protect himself, then he's in the circle of Allah. Okay? So the intention is matter. So if you are doing that in the circle of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whatever knowledge you are doing, that it might be something as a source of reward for you. And when I study electronic, as my background is study in electronic, and I always try to find connection to that. And it's beautiful to connect it. See, I connected the model of Nawa, the smallest part in the body, the atom. I compare it with the Majarra, with the galaxy, from Darra to Majarra. And I compare it with the movement of the electron, and I compare it with Hajj. I found something amazing. So now, for example, just to share with you a little, of that thought, we have, the Kaaba as a center for us, yes? As the Nawa, has a center of that. And around there are 7 orbits where the electron will go. And the anti-clockwise is exactly as we do for Hajj and for Tawaf. And we do how many rounds? 7. So you are in that sense as if you are the electron, the one free to move. And you're moving around the Kaaba 7 times. And the electron, when they give it a kind of insight of energy, that electron will be out of the orbit, and actually that the nuclear bomb. What's a nuclear bomb? That they make that electron free. Okay? So when you are going 7 round on the orbit, you are going to be free, and that's your energy and that's your power. Greater than even that the nuclear power, that you will feel it. You will feel it, wallah. You know. So I'm just looking at that model. The teacher will say, I will say, oh, this is what I'm doing when I'm going to Umrah. You know. So I'm the electron, I'm going there around. And actually that's increased my iman. Because this model in the Hajj, who told the Prophet that there's 7 orbits, and that's the way how they move. And by the way, the movement of those going to Tawaf is exactly like the movement of electron around the central of the atom, and the same movement of the planet in the galaxy. Same direction and same movement. Subhanallah. So we all synchronize. Yes, we're all going to the same direction. And that's when I studied this, you know what? Oh, there's element of something that's related to. And how is that? How that man like Muhammad, he would know all of that? So that's not possible unless that he taught by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So again, going back to this, whatever type of knowledge that would be useful. However, all of us being required to know the minimum of our deen, minimum of the knowledge of our deen. وَاجْعَلْ عُلُومَ الدِّينِ رَأْسَ الْمَالِ ثُمَّ عُلُومَ الدُّنْيَا بِالتَّوَالِ. You cannot be specialized in one field and you're ignorant about main principles on your deen. There are kind of knowledge that it's must to learn. There are knowledge that is optional, but there's other knowledge is must. And that's within one rule called مَا لَا يَتِمُّ الْوَاجِبُ إِلَّا بِهِ فَهُوَ واجب. This is a rule, قاعدة. مَا لَا يَتِمُّ الْوَاجِبُ إِلَّا بِهِ فَهُوَ واجب. Whatever that required to fulfill your duties, it become your duties. So whatever knowledge that need to practice what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks you to do, that became part of your obligation. So now, salah is obligatory, yes? In order to know ahkam al-salah, that's must for you. Because in order to fulfill your duties, which is salah, you have to learn ahkam al-salah. So you cannot say, you know what, oh, I don't have to know. No, you have to know. It's must for you. Okay? But ahkam al-zakah, is that must for you to know ahkam al-zakah? No, it's not must. Unless you're obligatory to pay zakah. But if somebody poor has no saving and no money, it's not must for him to know ahkam zakah. The moment that you have money and that's zakatable, then you have to learn ahkam zakah. However, learn ahkam zakah without even practice zakah, because zakah is not obligatory on you, that's where you get the reward, and you get reward for that knowledge. Even the knowledge that you don't practice, because not obligatory on you, that's rewardable. I hope that will be clear. Last question, brother.
Assalamu alaikum. So since Ramadan is coming, what is the best time in the days of Ramadan to make dua? Is there a specific time?
Yes. Throughout the day, there are 3 important times. Okay? That's really important to invest on those. Beside the other regular times, where the time in salah and sujood, and the time of the salah, and all that regular ones. But those ones, it's really important. So the time of sahur, where people busy with like food and try to catch last luqma, last morsel, before the adhan, that's the time of dua. That dua will be answered. So before Fajr. And the time that of Maghrib, that when the time that you're breaking your fast, where people as well, forget, that to, and they rush to drink their dips or soup, whatever. Yes, yes. Or they are busy with other items there on the table. There, yes. So that's the time of dua. Do not forget that time. That's the time for dua. And if I wanna add the other time, that's a time after Asr. Any time after Asr and before Maghrib, that's it's a great hours. And any time after Fajr until the sunrise, that's a good time. But if you wanna invest, there are 3 times that I will always encourage: the time of sahur, the time of breaking fast, and any time at the night, especially the last third. This is the 3 important times that's more chance your dua will be answered. Was that? Of course, yes. The last 10 days that I think we answer all questions. Your question. Even the dua while you are breaking your fast, that's a great time for the dua. It doesn't have to be it's a long dua, brothers. The dua that you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, actually one of the advice that I'm sure each one of us has a wish, yes? Focus on your wish and make it that your dua. Constant, the same one, same things. And you will try. That dua will be answered before next Ramadan. That dua, I'm telling you, just make one dua that is really that something you're looking for. And make dua throughout the month of Ramadan. Bi-idhnillah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're going to see that true before the coming Ramadan. So there are many of you, they're going to make dua, Allahumma rzuqna zawja salihah, yes? For those that have not get married yet, yes, you are one of them, that's fine. Yes. Okay, so make dua, inshallah. Make it dua, you even know, inshallah. Before the coming Ramadan, inshallah, before the next Ramadan, inshallah, your dua will be answered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. اللهم أجب دعاءنا واللهم اغفر ذنوبنا اللهم نسألك العفو والعافية والمعافاة الدائمة في الدين والدنيا والآخرة اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد في الأولين وصل على سيدنا محمد في الآخرين وصل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد في الملأ الأعلى إلى يوم الدين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصل اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وآله الأطهار آمين 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 وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك آمين أجمعين فيك بارك الله